My name is Gavata Smith, and I wanted to take a few minutes today to do a 360 view of the current job market. Yes, I have been a hiring manager, so I understand the recruiter and hiring manager side of things. Unfortunately, on February 19th, I was laid off due to the cuts led by DOGE, and so I am now a job seeker. Just to tell you a little bit about my background, I have been leading government contracts since my first government contract I led was in 2003. I have a TS-SCI clearance, and I have 22 industry certifications, including my PMP, Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, Scrum Master, and Agile Leader. So that's a little bit about me. So that is the view in which I would like to speak from. So as a recruiter and hiring manager, to my fellow job seekers, let's talk. First of all, we have got to stop applying to jobs that we do not qualify for. So from the job seeker's perspective, we get frustrated when we get decline notices 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because our resume did not meet the AI scan qualifications. So you would say, why isn't someone sitting, reviewing and reading my resume? When you think about a recruiter, a company, a hiring manager posting a job, and within 2 hours, they have over 300 applicants, do you really expect them to read each resume, each application attached to that resume, and you do not meet the minimum qualifications? They need a way to get through those resumes and to bring things down so that they can actually see who is in the running for this particular position. So we cannot be mad at them for not looking at every resume when they're getting 200 to 300 resumes as soon as they post a job, at least within the next few hours. So not mad at them about that. Another thing about us job seekers, we have got to stop having ridiculous salary expectations. Let's be honest. You get on an interview or you talk to a recruiter who is screening you and you're asking for $200,000. Do you want $200,000 responsibilities? In your old company, they may have built a relationship with you and you may have been on a great track to continue to be promoted, and this is where you eventually saw yourself. But meanwhile, they were training you to get to that next level. Let's be honest. If you don't have the degree, you don't have the certifications, you don't have the experience, stop putting these ridiculous salaries and expecting people to entertain them, okay? Now, another thing, job posters put out and say this is an in-office position. This is a hybrid position. You get into the weeds of it and now you want to be remote, or you want to claim, reasonable accommodations. The government, if you're a government contractor, is requiring somebody to be in the office. They're trying to hold on, that company's trying to hold on to that contract. So guess what? They're going to hire the person that is willing to be in the office every day when they need to be in the office. You cannot be mad because you want a remote job and they need somebody in the office, okay? So, likewise, they say you need a certain level of clearance. You have a public trust. Maybe you don't understand the cleared space, so maybe you got a public trust in a DHS agency. That has nothing to do, most times it's not transferable to a DOD agency. Most DOD clearances can transfer over, but not all DHS clearances can transfer over to DOD. These are things you need to understand. Some people will apply and say, I'm clearable. Now you just wasted the recruiter's time. They have to start back over from scratch. So as a job seeker, we have to be fair in our expectations as bad as we need a job, okay? Now, I'm going to talk from the job seeker perspective. I've gotten emails to ask me what time I was available for a phone screening, sent back a time, and never got a response. That is just outright rude, okay? Another thing that has happened, people have said to me, shorten your resume. Well, my issue with that, I have a twofold issue with that. So first of all, your site made me fill out a whole application. So wouldn't that be the shorter version of my resume? Number two, the reason I'm not shortening my resume is because I need my resume to be able to pass all of those AI scans. And if I don't have the right words in there that are the keywords or the buzzwords that are looked for a project manager or scrum master to work in a PMO office to deal with executive. If I don't have those right buzzwords in there, my resume is going to get kicked out. Now you would say, well, customize your resume per position. Why would I do that? And I'm trying to apply to 10 to 20 jobs a day. And you got 300 or 400 applicants on this. So you want me to stop and customize my resume that may not even get looked at because you have so many applicants, or somebody's cousin, somebody referred their cousin, or somebody in the company, their contract just ended. So now you're going to pull them over. And I just spent 30 to 45 minutes, maybe even an hour, customizing a resume that you're not even willing to stop and look at. So that's my little 2 cents about that. The thing about so another thing that I want to throw in here, because the job market is so inundated, I've noticed that we're being offered much smaller salaries. I think it's a thing of supply and demand. You know, you have so many people to choose from, and somebody that's living on their own is not able to accept the same salary as somebody that's either married or still living at home with their parents. And I understand this is business, but I'm just talking reality, right? Again, back to the clearance thing. You say you want someone cleared. We meet the clearance qualification. Then it's, well, you have a TS-SCI. Will you sit for a poly? And then the last thing that is really one of my pet peeves is, no, it's 2 more things, I'm sorry. Someone rushing to get you to tweak your resume. They want to submit you. This has to go in. And then a month down the line, you haven't heard a word. Not a follow-up, not a, Gavata, we're still in, we're pending award. We're waiting to hear back. The government sent some questions. Like nothing. It's just crickets, silence. You're calling, you're leaving emails, no response whatsoever. And then I'm going to say it again. The last thing I would ask recruiters is, if we email you, just can you email back? Or whenever you get time, email back. You know, I've reached out to people that didn't email back. I found some recruiter email addresses on clearance jobs, and some recruiters will say, check on our site first. Well, I did that. That's the reason I'm trying to get in touch with someone directly, because at the end of the day, you want somebody human to have a conversation with, to look at your resume, to share your skills and your qualifications and your thought process. And it is really challenging in today's job market. So I just wanted to chat about that a little bit, because it's hard, being out of work since February and me being on my own and having to foot my own bills. And unfortunately, I got laid off the day after I closed on my very first home. So you can imagine what that looks like in my world. But I consistently apply. You know, everybody seems like they're in pre-award phase, waiting on answers. So it's nothing out here but, signing letters to the pre-award letters of commitment. Then you have all of the people who are scammers or over in another country that are on DICE, and then they want you to sign RTRs and want all your personal identification information, which makes no sense to me. But I just wanted to get on here and have a conversation about what the job market looks like from both sides of the spectrum. I think it's very important that we stop to consider what it looks like from both a job seeker and an employer side of it. You all have a great day. Bye-bye.